and welcome to the podcast that doesn't care about how it looks, except when it's glamming up the studio for a YouTube visual episode. It's the big man up top.
Yes, it is. Ed, can I just say you look wonderful?
Oh, thank you, Joe. You look wonderful too.
Thank you so much.
So for all of our listeners who generally listen, on UCB Player or Apple or Spotify, this episode, I think you'll still get something out of it, but actually we're doing this just as a blatant bribe, aren't we, Joe, to get you to come to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@bigmanuptoppod. Why are we doing that, Joe?
Well, we are, for the new season, we're going to be filming our full episodes, aren't we, Ed? So we've put a lot of thought into how this should look. But yeah, this is just shamelessly tempting you over.
So today we have a show and tell episode. We're going to share some of our favourite things from our footballing lives and just tell the stories around them. But obviously we're going to show you some things, and so you might want to be on YouTube to have a look at them. But first of all, Joe, we're in a sort of a new. The studio's had a bit of a refresh, hasn't it?
It has. It's the Big Man Up Top 2.0.
Tell us about the Big Man Up Top studio.
Yeah, so we're in the same studio as normal, except we've got a graphic.
We've got a graphic, behind us.
We've got some shirts, Ed.
It's a bit like this has become the changing room for a Big Man Up Top 11, but all 11 are massive target men strikers.
We had a wonderful meeting last week so we're going to get these shirts for the studio. What players do we want? And it was fantastic.
It was
just
great.
Me, you, producer Anthony, just throwing out some strikers that we love. And do you want to talk us through who we've landed on?
Well, I think we should start behind you. We've gone for Emil Heskey.
Number 8. Tell
us about Emil Heskey and his time at Liverpool, Joe. Do you have any memories? I don't know whether this is too early for you.
I think it's a little bit too early. Obviously, he's a stalwart in the Liverpool team. Number 8, which you wouldn't see a striker as number 8 these days, would you? I think I remember him more for his England days than his Liverpool days.
Yeah. I think of him as a Leicester player, actually. Leicester and England, and obviously starring in that 5-1 demolition of Germany.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think his lasting legacy, of course, is when he moved to Newcastle Jets in the Australian League, and they did a whole Heskey cam where you could just watch Emil Heskey.
It's what we all want.
So I think that's his lasting legacy, in my opinion.
Moving on behind you, we also have a Drogba shirt.
Yeah, a fan favourite of the podcast, I think.
A lot of people like Drogba. He's sort of just one of those strikers that just felt like he had absolutely everything. He was the complete striker, wasn't he?
Yeah, first goal at the new Wembley as well in that FA Cup final.
When you think of Drogba, what moment or goal do you think of?
Well, I think of that FA Cup final goal. I also think of the Champions League. Was it an equaliser against Bayern?
Yeah, the header. That's the one I think of.
I think you think of that. You think of him getting quite angry at the end of what game was it, where he got quite shouty at the camera.
Oh yes, it's a disgrace.
Yeah,
or something
disgrace.
to those effects. Moving round, Teddy Sheringham, Joe.
Again, a bit early for me.
Yeah,
I remember him signing for West Ham. Quite old.
Yeah.
I think that's my only memory of Teddy Sheringham.
I feel like I've got this bizarre memory of him scoring a penalty that was disallowed because it hit the post.
Yes.
Like he took a penalty, it hit the post and it came back and he struck the rebound and scored, but it was disallowed because effectively it's like touching the ball twice.
Yeah, wasn't it one of those where everyone was like, I didn't realise that was a rule?
Yeah.
It was like, what's gone on here?
But it's one of those memories that like I can sort of vaguely remember it, but when you think you might have made something up, like that's sort of where it sits in my consciousness.
Yeah,
but Sheringham and Shearer, massive for England. And then who have we got to finish off, Joe?
This is the contentious one, I think, but I think it does add a bit of colour into the studio. We've gone for an orange Wout Weghorst.
Yes.
Now, you were quite passionate about this one. Why?
Well, I think he's just sums up like the big man up top. He's not exactly got the end product, has he, particularly, but still managed to get a move to Man United.
Yeah. He's unfashionable, but does the job. I think my memory of him, I mean, he's still playing probably, but that World Cup goal, do you remember the free kick?
Yeah.
The little cheeky free kick for the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Just a little tidy finish. That was a moment of genius. Yeah. I think that's probably what got him his move to United.
Just that one bit, and then all of a sudden everyone clamours for him to be in their team. But yeah, so these are the shirts we've got, and I think maybe we can add to them throughout the season.
Yeah, send in your suggestions. Who else should we have? Obviously, we have a budget, as you can see. So we have had to go quite generic.
Yeah,
because we don't want to case against the Premier League.
Exactly.
We don't want to steal their branding and have some charges against our name, because they famously are quite serious.
Absolutely. So this is a show and tell episode, Joe. So what are we going to do in this show and tell episode?
We've brought in some items, Ed, from home. Some football memorabilia.
Yeah.
And we're just going to talk through what they are, how they make us feel.
Yeah. And the stories, I suppose, that they tell.
You have a lot more than I do.
I do. I've got a bag full down here. Shall I go first?
I think okay. I think your wife has a lot more grace for your stuff,
my footballing tat around the house
than mine does.
Here's some items that didn't make the cut.
Some honourable mentions.
Yeah. This here is the greatest book about football that I've ever read. It's called Soccernomics.
Nice.
So if any of you are into sort of your stats, this is great. It's by Simon Cooper and Stefan Szymanski. It was an updated version of the original book, which was called Why England Lose, and it's basically it's all about the economics of football in terms of like statistics and why teams do well or don't do well and all that sort of thing. It's a brilliant read.
It is fascinating. I'm working my way through it as well at the moment. And the first bit, there's a really fascinating bit on why, like the difference between in-swinging and out-swinging corners.
Yes.
And when there was a moment they realised that actually one of them was better than the other.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one.
Well, this is it. And a lot of my items are basically going to be, an homage to Stoke City, of course.
Sure,
you're expecting that. And actually what Soccernomics made me realise was just the fact that I think it was something like in swinging corners, there were goals in sort of 51% in swinging compared to 49% out swinging, and so that's why Tony Pulis never had any of his team take out swinging corners, because statistically they were less likely to result in a goal. And that just sort of, I was like, he's great, isn't he?
He knows what he's doing.
So my first item really here is basically, it's again another paper item, but it is the programme from the greatest day of my Stoke City supporting life, the FA Cup semi-final against Bolton. It's the programme which features two classics of the genre, Rory Delap and Kevin Davis.
Oh, massive. That's fantastic.
We absolutely love it. It's a huge programme. It cost £5.
£5?
Five Earth pounds.
Wow.
But nestled in there is very special to me was my ticket from the game.
Where were you sat?
Right at the back. Right at the back. But yes, and I just sort of reminded me of what that day was for me, because it was a very bizarre day. As soon as Stoke got to the semi-final, I realised that the semi-final was going to take place on my birthday. And there was sort of this strange sort of thing of like, oh, that's kind of nice. Stoke are going to be at Wembley, and it's on my birthday. And then I also realised there was a video going around that the Stoke supporters had been sharing. It was like a sort of a PowerPoint video set to this poem that this local poet had written, and it was called Do It, and it was about and it was when we were going up into the Premier League, and it was like, do it for Longton. It was like, do it for Longton bus station, do it for and it was all about do it for and do it for the oatcakes was one of the lines.
Of course it was. Yeah.
And so do it for oatcakes was one of the lines, and there was a picture of a pack of oatcakes that appeared. And just randomly, the sell-by date on this pack of oatcakes was the same day as my birthday.
Special.
But also, it was the same day as the semi-final. So obviously, all the Stoke fans latched onto it and went, it's the mythical pack of oatcakes. This is it. It's a sign we're going to win, right?
Yeah.
So we're going into it. And then I realised, Joe, that my brother-in-law has arranged his stag do over that weekend. And it's a Sunday, and this is not good. Already sorted my tickets out because it was an abroad stag do.
Okay.
So it was in Portugal, and I basically just told him, I just said, look, I'm not missing this. I'm going to have to fly home a day early. I hope you're okay with that. And he was very nice, and he was like, yeah, absolutely understand.
He understands, yeah.
So I had to get the faffiest of journeys back to London, and I just went straight to London. I took a flight to like Gatwick or something, got the train. It was overnight. I hadn't slept. I was a bit delirious. I ended up sleeping on a mate's floor in the centre of London. And it was just, the whole thing was very strange. I went to Wembley. I was very tired, and I just then watched us win 5-0 and just thought, Am I dreaming? Like, I could well be dreaming this, and it was just it was one of the.
It was all worth it.
It was all worth it. One of the greatest, and very nearly saw Andy Wilkinson score for Stoke City, and right back who famously played for about 10 years for us and didn't score.
Never scored.
But it was a great day.
Well, it sounds like you did it for the oatcakes.
I did eat for the oatcakes. Joe, give us your first item.
Sure. Well, my first item. I got married. Just over 3 years ago now, Ed, and all semblance of football memorabilia was not allowed in my new house. So it all went back to my parents' house, all my shirts, all my items, apart from this one thing,
right?
That was described as quite tasteful.
Oh,
actually. Now this is in pride of place in the utility.
Yeah. When nobody can see it. Yeah,
no one can see it. It's a poster. It's a magnetic poster, Ed.
All right.
Of Divock Origi.
Oh, look at that.
Winning goal in the semi-final.
Fantastic.
Liverpool 4, Barcelona 0. Of course. So it says, score at the top. The commentary, corner taken quickly, Origi.
Okay, can you give us an impression of the actual commentary?
Corner taken quickly, Origi! Something like that. I can't quite remember the inflection, but I think this is quite tasteful. Do you not think? It maps out the corner. Of course, Trent Alexander-Arnold takes the corner quickly. Divock Origi catches the Barcelona defence off guard, and he slots it beautifully into this top corner.
Yeah, absolutely. Where were you that night, Joe, when you watched that game?
I was actually at the Leadership Conference 2019,
right?
Which was really annoying. This was held in Birmingham. But I was watching the semi-final at the back of the conference on my phone. I was not paying attention at all.
Who was speaking at the time? Do you remember?
I actually can't remember.
Okay.
No. I don't want to say any names.
So what I want to know is what happened. Like, if you're in the back of this conference when Origi scores that goal.
Right, so what happens is, obviously, Liverpool are 3-0 down in the semi-final.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, this is why I was at the conference. I was like, there's no chance they're coming back. But I thought, I'll watch it just in case. Origi scores quite early on. And then you get that Wijnaldum double, either side of half-time. And you're thinking, hang on, this is on now. Obviously, the second Wijnaldum goal equalises. The conference finishes at 9:30, so I leg it to a pub where loads of people have already left the conference early to go and watch it. And I'm queuing at the bar, and at the bar with me is a lovely man, actually listens to the podcast.
Oh, wow.
Called Liam. And we didn't really know each other at the time. We knew of each other. We're good friends now, probably because of this moment, actually. He's buying me a San Miguel.
Right.
Which is very kind of him. So we're just leaning at the bar buying a San Miguel. Suddenly we see in the corner of our eyes, this corner is taken. Origi slots it in. Me and Liam have the biggest hug, like a massive sweaty hug, because we've been at the conference all day, and then we're at the bar. We've legged it to the pub, and it was an incredible moment.
Yeah,
it was just, what on earth has happened? Divock Origi, cult hero for life.
Yeah,
just incredible.
I feel like the hugs with strangers during football mentals that are one of the most profound things.
They're special experiences.
Yeah. I remember having a similar experience when we got a late equaliser at Aston Villa away and hugging the random guy in front of me, and it's odd, but we're here for it.
Yeah.
We're here for it.
Brilliant.
Right, next one for me, the last ever issue of the Stoke City fanzine, The Oatcake, rest in peace. 2019, it finally, obviously it was costing the guys too much money.
What does that say? It's not a hobby.
It's not a hobby, it's a passion. It's not a choice, it's an addiction. It's not part of your life, it is your life.
Wow.
It's a bit much, that. But The Oatcake was great, and that's just a shout out to fanzines. I love fanzines and fanzine culture. It's great. Feels very punk to me.
Stoke has become a bit of a meme of itself, hasn't it? Like a fanzine called the Oatcake. Like you think of Stoke.
We're very proud of oatcakes.
Yeah,
you know. I'm sure I've taken you to the game. There's a canal barge near the stadium that sells just oatcakes. There's one that sells beer and one that sells oatcakes. You know. But no, that's not what I was going to show you, Joe. This is my next item. It is my actual football boots. So these are my Adidas Telstar white football boots.
Wow.
I have had these for approaching 20 years, Joe, and they look like I've had them for 20 years, don't they?
They look well used. Do they have the things that strap the tongue to the down the bottom?
No, they don't. No, I haven't even undone my laces from the last time I wore them,
wow.
which was just the other day. So basically, I got these on holiday in Italy when I was in my early 20s. You know when a pair of boots just fits?
Yeah.
They just fit right, and I've had, I think, 3 other pairs of boots since then, because you look at them and you go, Ed, you need to get some new ones here.
Yeah.
And I've tried, and I just keep going back to these tatty old. They just feel so lovely.
You can't beat an Adidas fit.
It reminds me of like. I didn't wear these during primary school, but it reminds me of my footballing heydays, which were primary school.
Yeah.
When I put them on, I'm like instantly, just for a second, I'm a Premier League goal scorer.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and there's just something amazing about putting on a pair of boots, putting on your boots, and you feel, I could go and score a hat-trick today.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I had that same feeling when I played 11-a-side on Saturday mornings, when I played 5-a-side at uni. Now I'm coaching my daughter's under-11s team. And yeah, I wear these and I feel invincible.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
I feel like particularly Adidas, like the Adidas Predators, when they came, they were kind of like the first. They remind you of David Beckham when he was wearing the Preds, and you were like, I'm like David Beckham.
Yeah, I can be him.
And
in white, though, I'm interested to know what you think about me wearing white boots, Joe.
I didn't expect it.
No.
I had you as a no-nonsense black Umbro wearer.
Yeah.
Just not bothered.
Well, what's really interesting is I always assumed that white boots basically weren't a thing until David Beckham. And actually, like, looking back into history and stuff. So Alan Ball, England player, absolute legend, he used to wear white boots. He didn't in the 66 final, but yeah, he was you look at him and later in his career, he was an avid wearer of the white boot.
Yeah. There's something about white boots growing up.
Yeah.
That you're like, these are the ones. I remember on Pro Evo, I'd change all my favourite players to white boots because it just made them better.
Exactly. And and it's funny because I remember just being like, these are the coolest thing ever. And then as I sort of became older, all of a sudden I started lamenting these players that were wearing like neon green and pink and orange, and I was like, oh, what are they doing? And then I just thought back and I was like, no, that was me with white boots about like 20 years ago. So look, wear whatever boots you want.
Absolutely. Those players that would wear like odd boots. Jabril Cissé used to do that for Liverpool, and I'm not on board with that.
Right, Joe, what's your next item?
My next item. Have you heard of the Microstars?
There's such a lot of stuff here.
This is the Microstars Microdome, Ed. Did you ever collect power pots?
You're gonna have to fill me in. I feel like I might have done.
So what these were, you'd buy I think that it was like a chocolate football or something like that.
Right.
And with it, inside you would get a power pod. You wouldn't know who you were buying.
Okay.
And basically, let me open it up, Ed.
Yeah.
This is a whole stadium, which I won't assemble.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, this is quite special. So me and my brother used to get one of these quite regularly. You'd get the chocolate, and then we'd open the power pod, and we'd see who we get. As you can see, there's a load of them.
Can you hold this up? We need the cameras to be able to see this. This is
gosh. Oh, there you go.
Oh my gosh! Look at how many there are.
There's a mount, and they all have like little stats on the bottom. Yeah. So it's a bit like Top Trumps.
Oh yeah, because you could play.
You play each other.
Yeah.
So I thought, let's just do a lucky dip.
Let's pull out a few.
So the most basic one was a green base.
Yeah.
So most of them had a green. But I've just picked out James McFadden.
Yeah, there he is.
And he's on a little green base. Lovely little Everton kit there. Chang beer.
I do remember these. These are incredible. I had loads of them.
His best attribute, dribbling. 19.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got the greens. They were your basic one. This one, Gilardino. Remember him? Italian striker. And then you'd have white. They were a bit better.
Right.
Claude Makelele.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then you'd have a manager. There's Sven. Like his glasses. Look at those glasses.
Absolutely fantastic.
That's fantastic, isn't it? You'd have another blue. Peter Crouch in an Aston Villa kit.
Oh, there you go.
That's something. But then
he's the same height as all the rest of them.
Yeah. You would expect them. Here he's the same. He's the same height as Joe Cole.
You're right. Yeah,
that's not right.
Something's gone wrong there.
You'd have a silver base. Robert Pires.
Fair
play.
Yeah.
But then the pinnacle, when you'd peel back the chocolate and you'd see you've got a gold base. Goodness me. Alessandro Del Piero.
Oh, look at that.
Gold base. Who else? Brett Emerton. That is rogue. Brett Emerton gold base. Lauren.
What? Gold base?
Yeah.
Oh,
Arsenal.
dear. I'm not...
Robbie Fowler, Man City.
I feel like they've sort of scraped it in there if they're in the same company as Del Piero, but,
Alex Ferguson.
Yeah.
I don't know why we kept that one. I feel like my dad would have told me to bin it. But I guess if it's a gold base, there's so many.
There was so many amazing collectible stuff, I think, back in the day. Yeah. My daughter's recently got into collecting Panini stickers.
Nice.
With the WSL Panini stickers, and it's just... I'm getting flashbacks from when I was a child, got, swap, need, all that sort of stuff, and how amazing that was.
It was so good.
The funny thing was there were just so many collectibles at that time. There was also, there was Sabutio, so I remember having a big Sabutio thing. I also remember the other Sabutio that wasn't Sabutio, where you'd touch the heads down.
Like Super Striker or
something like that. Yeah. And again, you could collect different things. Yeah. There was cards, there was Pogs, there was all sorts of more collectibles are needed, I think.
I think so. Bring it back. Did you ever go to a swap shop?
Yes, I
used
did.
to love them. I went to one in Preston at the National Football Museum.
Yeah. And
you just queue up with all your swaps, and they'd give you 50 that you don't have.
Yeah.
And then Les Ferdinand was there. It was brilliant.
Yeah. Football collectibles, it was a massive thing. Get in touch with us. Send us an email. Write in the comments here on YouTube. What was your collectible? So I think it's probably about time we wrap this up, Joe. I've got one more item.
Okay, what have you got?
I mentioned in the special episode we did where I shared my story that my grandfather was Gordon Banks. And actually, this is an item I have, as you can probably imagine, our family has so much Gordon Banks stuff because he kept everything. He's from that generation that didn't chuck anything out. Some of it is amazing and, worth a lot of money and, letters from this player, that player, or, and all this sort of thing. Some of it is just utter tat. And then some of it is just really lovely, and this falls into the category of tat and really lovely at the same time.
Okay.
So this is a certificate that he was presented with, and he was presented with lots of various certificates by different things from a German team called SV Victoria Königslotter, which for context is a very, very, very small team in Germany. It's the equivalent of Newcastle Town or something like that. I think they had a small stand of maybe 100 people.
Okay.
And basically, why I love this, the certificate is awful, isn't it? Just have a look at that. It looks like it's been done on paint. It's pixelated.
But it's kind of great as well. Though.
It's very strange. It's all in German, so I don't really know what it says.
What's Aaron McLeodschaft?
Well, maybe you can Google it.
Okay.
But what I know about this is that it just tells a bit of a story about a time in my grandfather's life. So he'd already started playing football. I can't quite remember whether he was playing for Chesterfield at that time, but he was called up to do his national service, which was a thing then. So he was 18 and he had to spend 18 months doing his national service, and he served with the Royal Signals in Germany at a British military base near the town of Königslutter, right in the middle of Germany. It's not far from, the nearest city is Wolfsburg, of Kevin De Bruyne fame.
Yes, Wout Weghorst.
Wout Weghorst.
Was he there?
I don't know. Who knows? So not far from there, he was stationed in this town of Königslutter. And that is where he met my grandmother, who was German. And as was the sort of the climate at the time, I suppose, Germany post-war, we're talking late 50s, was a very difficult place to be. It was a poor town in a poor part of Germany, and apparently the tactic of the local young women at the time was to try and hook up with a British soldier, try and bag a British soldier.
Okay.
And so it was all about Friday night at the local tavern when the British soldiers would come in and have a drink. Yeah, my grandmother went in and met my grandfather there. And it's quite a lovely story because my grandfather definitely wouldn't have been able to speak German. And I think my grandmother's English would have been
ropey
at best. But, you know, it was all quite romantic.
Wow.
And when my grandfather's military service came to an end, he came home, he brought my grandmother home with him, and they got married back in the UK. And then his football career sort of went on from there. But he played in goal for this team, SV Victoria Königslutter, and in 2013 they had their 100-year anniversary, and they sent a letter to him and said, we're having this sort of ceremony and this day to honour the 100-year history of the team. Would you come over? And I think basically they weren't expecting him to even respond. And yeah, he was like, I'd be delighted to.
Amazing.
And so the family took a trip and they went out, and they made a big thing of it. And obviously he was, you know, the best player that ever played for this team. But yeah, and they presented him with this terrible certificate. But it's just lovely. It's the story it tells.
It's so nice.
So
that's where it all started.
It's just nice, and it kind of reminds me of like why we even do things like this, that like, you know, these items, is because actually like they bring us joy because of the stories they tell.
Absolutely.
And I think that football is great for that. The memories of, you know, this game and where you were, you know, you being at that conference, or where you were when you saw that goal and what stage of life you were in. I think that's really, really important. And
100%.
it's kind of like, it's part of the feeling we want to be able to show on this podcast.
Absolutely. Well, Ed, that's been fun.
But that was a lot of fun. We talked for longer than I thought we would.
Yeah. That's what we do.
So we're coming into the new season next week. It all kicks off, Joe.
Gosh, I'm not ready for another one, Ed.
No, I know it's a lot, isn't it? It's been a big summer of football, but next week we start our new season. So make sure you are listening to us wherever you're listening. Go and check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@BigManUpTopPod. Make sure you subscribe, follow, all those lovely things, because we want to talk to you guys throughout the season. Joe, what are your predictions? Not for the season, I mean for us.
For us?
Yeah.
Gosh.
I don't want you to say Liverpool are going to win the league again, because we know they are.
No, I'm saying nothing. Predictions for us? Wow, more of the same, I guess. Hopefully better.
Mid-table consolidation.
Yeah, I think that we've got some really exciting guests coming up, haven't we? We're just excited to see where this can go. This is a community, not a podcast, and we're just thrilled to have you guys involved, and we're excited to see what happens this season.
Well, we'll see you next week, Joe.
Yeah, see you then.